Good morning, scholars and staff. Welcome to MB News. I am your host, Miss Moreno. Bienvenidos a todos de la comunidad de Montevera. Yo soy la maestra Moreno. Vamos a comenzar con Marely.
Thank you, Ms. Moreno. I want to start by congratulating our new PTO officers and welcoming back our existing officers. Our president is Yuridia Rubirka, our vice president is Janet Camacho, our treasurer is Sara Poli, our co-treasurer is Nisa Mendoza, our secretary is Leticia Maravillo, our parliamentarian is TBD. Welcome to PTO. I know you will do an amazing job. Quiero comenzar felicitando a nuestros miembros de PTO. Nuestra presidenta es Yuridia Rubirka, nuestra vicepresidente Janet Camacho, nuestra tesorera Sara Policarpio y nuestra costesora Nisa Mendoza y parlamentario TBD. Bienvenidos al PTO. Sé que harás un trabajo increíble. Ahora con Geraldine.
Thank you, Marley. Dear parents, teachers, and students, we are excited to begin our fundraiser with Otis Spunk Mayor. Cookie dough and Popcornopolis popcorn. All profits will go towards school activities and remote PBIS awards. Our fundraiser will be all online, or you can use the packages that were sent home. We ask that each family registers by either downloading the free MyFunR app from the App Store or registering on our website at register.schoolshopping.org. The school code is SS4802. Help us make this our best sale yet. Now moving into Haiti.
Thank you, Geraldine. A family gender reveal has caused a large wildfire in California. The fire spread out to 7,000 acres in 2 days. Hundreds of people had to evacuate. The officials said a California fire that scorched more than 7,000 acres in 2 days was a first sparkled by pyrotechnic device was used during a gender reveal. The fire is still spreading. It happened in El Dorado Ranch Park. They used colored smoke to reveal the gender. That must have been terrifying how that fire happened. This is a lesson to always be careful. A lot of innocent people are suffering because of irresponsible gender reveal. Imagine all those firefighters leaving their families behind and risking their lives all because of a group of people were not safe. Now moving on to Susanna with national news.
Thank you, Haiti. It is the 19th anniversary of 9/11. Let's take a moment of silence in remembrance of the ones that passed away. This is a day in history that will never be forgotten. A lot of deaths happened in New York City. About 2,070 deaths were estimated that happened. The Twin Towers collapsed that day. This was caused by an airplane that unfortunately crashed into the buildings. On this day, many police officers, citizens, and firefighters risked their lives and sadly passed away. This is a very special day in history. We will never forget this tragic day, but most importantly, we will never forget how the United States bonded like family. Race, color, and religion didn't matter. What mattered was that we were there for each other. Joining me for an interview are some of the Montevela staff, Ms. Sandoval, Ms. Chaides, Ms. Alvarez, and Ms. Ambrose. Ms. Sandoval, what is your role in our school and where were you when 9/11 happened?
I'm the first grade dual immersion teacher here at Montevella, and I remember 9/11 very well. For me, it was a very personal day. At that point, I worked in the federal building in San Jose. I worked for a federal agency. And right before I got in my car to leave for work, the first plane started hitting the building. And we weren't sure what we should do. So I almost can feel the fear right now. Right away, our boss emailed us. All federal employees were to stay home. They really weren't sure what was happening yet. And I was pretty shaken up, and so were a lot of my coworkers at the time. I was also very concerned because I went to university in New York, and I had a lot of friends that worked downtown, and most of the people that I went to graduate school with were there. And so the whole morning I was getting texts and calls and updates from friends who were trying to get home, and hearing all their stories of what was happening. So it felt very personal, both because it disrupted my day. I didn't go to work that day. And second, because I had all the friends in New York, and I had been in the Twin Towers lots of times. I had a summer job in New York City, and we used to go hang out up at the windows of the world. I would meet friends for drinks or dancing up there. So it was a very frightening day. And at the time, we weren't really sure what was happening. We weren't really sure if it was stopping, if there would be more. So for me, it was a day of a lot of uncertainty and, unfortunately, a lot of fear. It's kind of a day that's kind of seared into your memory. Later, a lot of positive things happened, and that was great. But at the time, it was a pretty tragic day.
Thank you, Ms. Sandoval. Ms. Chaides, what is your role in our school, and where were you when 9/11 happened?
My name is Brenda Chaides, and I am the school counselor here at Montevella. And when 9/11 happened, I was actually a senior in high school. And so I got up really early in the morning to get ready for school. When you're a senior, you really want to look good. And so I was straightening my hair and curling it. And I remember turning on the TV, and I thought it was a movie because it was so dramatic. It was just so much going on that I thought it was a movie. And I just found it so strange that there was this movie on so early in the morning. So I continued to do my hair just like normal. And then my mom walked in and she's like, "Are you seeing the news? A plane just crashed into the Twin Towers." And she was very like nervous. And I think that her reaction made me more nervous. And then I totally dropped everything and we started paying attention to the news. And yes, I was really scared. My mom was really concerned about me going to school. Like, is it safe for my daughter to go to school? So I think looking back at that, it's a lot of things that it relates kind of to what we're going through now, right? With coronavirus, like, we want to go back to school, but are our kids going to be safe going back to school? And it takes me back to that day because my mom was really worried about whether I was going to be safe at school. She didn't want to let me go. I didn't want to miss out on going to school, but it was just trying to keep each other safe. But like Ms. Sandoval said, a lot of the good things came out of it. After that experience, I think I grew more grateful for just being able to wake up every day and the things that I had, the opportunity that I had to be with my family and hug them and thank them for just being there for me. So it's definitely it was a tragic experience, but a lot of good things did come out of it.
Ms. Alvarez, what is your role in our school, and where were you when 9/11 happened?
My name is Luisa Alvarez, and I am the TK teacher at Montebella. And when it was 9/11, I was actually in first grade. So I was 7 years old because I'm an older kid. And all I remember was I was in the cafeteria and my babysitter came and picked me up. I had no idea what was going on. And my babysitter goes like, "Oh, there's an emergency somewhere else in the United States, and your mom wanted me to pick you up," because my mom worked at the courthouse here in Monterey County. And I guess, I don't know if she heard it on the way to work or whatever, but when it was like around my lunchtime, she asked the babysitter to pick me and my sister up from school because she didn't know if we would be safe there. And she heard that, all government buildings all were going to be targeted, and they just never knew where, the next, if there was going to be another attack and where it was going to be. So my mom wanted to, get us out of school, have us all be together instead of in our separate classrooms with my baby brother as well. And I mean, at the time, I didn't know what was happening, but when I look back at it, it was crazy how something like so devastating just brought people together. And that is what that day did for me. It brought me with my brother and my sister and then my mom, and we just kind of like made sure we had each other to stay safe.
Ms. Ambrose, what is your role in our school and where were you when 9/11 happened?
My name is Candy Ambrose, and I am a kindergarten teacher here at Montebella. And on 9/11, I was in Southern California teaching. I was a teacher. And I remember waking up. I had my son, who was about 2 years old, and then I had a new. And I remember going on with, getting up and doing my things before the kids got up. I always got myself ready first. And I remember turning the TV on and seeing plumes of smoke coming up out of the towers. And I went to wake up my husband. And when I came back, they had hit the other tower. It was very unbelievable, kind of like Mrs. Chida said, it was like a movie. I remember going to school that day because I'm a teacher. I was probably teaching a student like Luisa. And I was teaching kindergarten, so Luisa was a year older. But I remember just going to school and trying to be normal. We were very worried and concerned, and I dropped my kids off at the babysitter. But like everyone said, 9/11 really brought Americans together. We really bonded over this tragic experience, and I remember seeing flags everywhere. I remember coming to school the next day or even the week, and people would be wearing T-shirts with the United States flag on it. I remember honoring people every 9/11 at school. We would have assemblies, and we would have people come in and talk about their experiences. When I moved to Texas a couple years later, I met a family, was very close with a family whose dad was in 9/11. He was a first responder, and he was a police officer. He moved to Texas to get away from there because the memories were just horrendous. And I remember celebrating every year. He had children that were of the age of my children, and his wife was a teacher. She taught with me, and we became very close with that family and the connections that we made, and how thankful they were that their dad was alive, that he survived this horrible experience. But it just brings people together, and I think in tragedy and in hard times, we always seem to come together as a community, and I think that's one of the good things that happened.
Thank you, Ms. Ambrose. Thank you for taking your time for this interview. Now moving on to Eric with air pollution.
Thank you, Susana. Air pollution is a worldwide problem. Air pollution is caused mostly by factories, cars, and more. Over 2 billion children live in places with high air pollution levels. The United National Children's Fund states that 3 million children die every year. Kids still have a lot to go through in their lives, and it cannot end just because some air is polluted. Also, Africa, India, China, Iraq, and many more countries almost have no clean air. Children are mostly the ones at risk because they breathe faster than grown-ups and have smaller lungs. Sadly, this affects the development of the brain. When I found out that so many kids are dying every year just because air pollution, it made me feel shocked and worried about these kids. I don't have to live my life at risk like many other kids do. And there's so many kids protesting to be saved and just have a normal life. Kids just want a normal life. Now with Samantha with Spanish Noticias.
Gracias, Eric. ¿Sabías que los bomberos están arriesgando sus vidas para mantenernos seguros del fuego y proteger nuestras vidas? Algunos bomberos de México acaban de aterrizar en Medford, Oregon, para ayudar a vencer los fuegos. El presidente quiere poner una pared para separar a los mexicanos y no puedan venir a los Estados Unidos. Aunque Trump no llama criminales Los mexicanos todavía tienen esa bondad en el corazón para ayudar a los Estados Unidos. Dejaron sus hogares, familias y tomaron riesgos para salvar a otros sin ver los insultos de Trump. Susana, ¿cómo te sientes tú que los mexicanos tomaron esos riesgos?
Yo me siento muy agradecida con los bomberos porque aunque Trump los haya insultado, ellos todavía decidieron ayudarnos. Ellos arriesgaron sus vidas para venir y apagar los fuegos acá. So, les doy muchas las gracias a los bomberos que dejaron a sus familias y lo pudieron arriesgar todo.
Marely, ¿cómo te sientes tú que los mexicanos tomaron ese riesgo?
Yo me siento feliz porque los mexicanos mexicanos bomberos están viniendo aquí para salvar vidas y aunque Trump les diga cosas, ellos todavía vienen y no les importa lo que Trump les diga, nomás quieren salvar vidas.
Gracias Susana y Marely por su tiempo. Mil gracias a los bomberos por ser un ejemplo a nuestro país.
Gracias, Samantha. From all of us here at MB News, have a wonderful day. And like we say every single day, go scholars!
Go Scholars! Go Scholars!
Go Scholars! Go Scholars!
Go Scholars!
Go Scholars!
Ms. Moreno, I think someone erased the part where I said to the teachers.
Moreno, I want to start by congratulating our newest. Wait, they're calling my dad again. Luis, I told you to stay over there. Okay, can I start over? God. I can't.
Oh, it's just hold up. It just is glitching a lot.
The wildfire spread out to 7,000 acres.
Acres.
There you go.
Air pollution levels higher. Can I start?
Can I start? Can I restart? Sorry, my sister was opening the door.
Don't the teachers I interviewed need to say go scholars too?